Greetings. So, who wouldn't want healthy aging? Hopefully, we all age, but healthy aging is something that I believe we all want. I got told one time that you got to be tough to get old, and I got me to thinking. And this is when I was younger. I was like, if you got to be tough, then there's maybe some things we can do to age healthier. And I've learned these through the years, and if you haven't started healthy habits now, start today, because you can't go back in time and change them, but you can start making healthier habits now. So you can be healthier as you age than you're aging now, should we say. So it's never too late, but it's always a good time to start before the problem happens. And so here's some helpful hints to help us age, and why do we age, and so that is the question that we all have, is what causes aging. And we've learned through the years that inflammation, oxidative stress, insulin resistance, nutrient depletion, and integrity of the cells, the way our body is functioning, it all leads to bad aging or accelerated aging. And because things like weight loss, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune issues, even depression, dementia, things like that, they just accelerate faster if we're not aging properly. So those are some things just to be aware of, and we'll cover these topics more in depth now, like inflammation. You may think of inflammation as, oh, I sprained my ankle. I was walking and twisted, and oh, my ankle swelled up now. Yeah, that's inflammation. But your body does a good job of getting rid of that. But chronic inflammation, the things we get from maybe the foods we eat, or our habits like smoking that we do that cause inflammation, those are just chronically inflammation processes that, if we don't take care of, can lead to heart disease, diabetes, even cancer. So those are things we talk about now. So what is inflammation? Like, what is exactly inflammation, and why is it even there? Because it's actually a good thing. Inflammation the white blood cells go to an area. Say you did twist your ankle. Well, the white blood cells are going to the area to help it heal. So those are some. It's not a bad thing. Inflammation isn't, but chronically it can be. So it goes to the area that's injured to help it heal quicker, help it heal properly. So there's like I said, the good side of inflammation, which is on the short term, it's there to help it heal, like I said. But also in the long term, you may have heard this term recently, the cytokine storm. That's where you have chronic inflammation, and the body's actually attacking itself. And so it's a systemic problem that, if left unchecked, can cause, like I said before, heart disease, weight gain, diabetes, things that we really don't want, but we just think that we're just succumb to them. Well, there's some things you can start now to do to help that. So just realize that, and so the bad inflammation. Well, I can get rid of that easily. I can just take a medication to get rid of it. Well, that's the wrong way of looking at it. Medication never really cures anything. It just helps a number. So I know that people say, I'm taking my my Tylenol or my ibuprofen, and I don't get the achiness and all, but that's really just helping the way you feel now, not helping the problem. The problem's still there, the chronic inflammation. So just know that you got to do things on a healthy level to help inflammation, not just taking a medication, because those medications have side effects, which leads to heart disease, stroke, and even intestinal issues that show up over time of taking the the anti-inflammatory drugs. So, and the silent killer really is the systemic inflammation, and I know that's probably something new for us to comprehend and to learn, but inflammation is what gets no publicity, but we'll talk about here now where this all comes from. So The number one killer in men and women, do you know that? Can you guess that? It's heart disease. I know that there are other things that get in the news now that we don't hear about the heart disease. You may think for women it's even cancer, because we're about to come up on cancer month, breast cancer month, and hey, we all need to be aware of that, but we're not aware of heart disease and how we can even help that and age better and healthier. So the heart itself, it beats about 100,000 times a day. It moves around 2,000 gallons of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels a day. That's working a lot, if you ask me. And it beats about 2.5 billion times in your lifetime. And the blood circulates through the entire system once every minute. Because I'm talking here, the blood just keep pumping, and thankfully it's pumping around my body, circulating through my body once a minute. And it moves around, the heart moves around 100 million barrels of blood during our lifetime. This is amazing numbers there. So, but then what causes heart disease? Where does heart disease kind of start? How can we even stop it from happening to start with? Well, arterial sclerosis. That's where the blood vessels start to get corroded. And we'll go into that here now. It's like inflammation from C-reactive protein to CRP levels and elevated homeocysteine, which is a byproduct of cellular activity. So I know the LDLs get all the bad rap, but we need cholesterol in our body. We need that because every cell in our body needs cholesterol to fill. Every cell wall is made of cholesterol. So it's the LDLs that get the bad rap, but it's really the inflammation with the LDLs that starts the corrosion of the arteries, which leads to arterial sclerosis, because it leads to elevated insulin, high blood sugar, bad fats, poor diet, toxins, which we'll get more into, the chemicals that we're not even aware of that we breathe, we eat, we put on our bodies, and even heavy metals. So all of this adds up to arterial sclerosis, but all of it is gasoline on the fire with inflammation. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. So, and chronic inflammation is a symptom of virtually every disease. So everything that you can think of, from heart disease, cancer, diabetes, even things like dementia, start with chronic inflammation. So just kind of know that. So you want to do things to decrease your inflammation. And we'll talk about that here, what things you can do. So here's some causes of inflammation, like your free radicals, the blood sugar imbalances. Some of us are just too high in the blood sugar. So that's why we're taking medication to lower it, but are you doing healthy things to lower it? So this is the medication, So stress, poor rest, you're not sleeping right, the processed foods we eat, the toxins, the artificial sweeteners, subluxation. And that's where chiropractic comes into play to help you be healthy. And subluxation, for those who aren't aware what a subluxation is, that is, from a chiropractic standpoint, looking at the spine, when the vertebra gets out of place and puts pressure on the nerve, and the nerve's not working properly. So that leads to chronic inflammation, and then your bad health condition, being overweight, our lifestyles. Now we sit more than we need to and should, and the smoking and just the bad foods we eat. And so sugar really leads to inflammation. So you want to know how just how bad it is. Well, our ancestors, 500 years ago or so, consumed only 4 pounds per day. Per year. So it's a lot per day, but only 4 pounds a year of sugar. And then, say, 200 years ago, it increased to around 11 to 18 pounds a year of sugar. But today, with all the commercial foods we're eating and the processed foods, we're eating 150 to 170 pounds of sugar a year. So you can see how that's impacting our genes, how we're just not, our bodies wasn't made to have that much sugar to process. So those are some things just to know that, hey, you know how your Snickers bar leads to bad health? Well, there it is, the sugar. And so insulin production, causes IGF, which is insulin-like growth factor, to be released and creates inflammation. That's just a process. It happens. So when you produce insulin, which we think insulin is a good thing because we need it, yes, it is, but too much is a bad thing because the IGF there, because that stimulates faster cell growth and with inflammation, and it can lead to things like cancer, heart disease, just causes the IGF. So that's how all these carbohydrates that we're eating, all the sugars we're intaking, that's how the pathway that leads to inflammation. And then the bad fats. Lord knows we don't eat enough omega-3s, and that's mainly from your fish oils. There's other seeds and berries that have omega-3s in there, but a lot of it's from your fish oils. But now we're having too much carbohydrate consumption. Everybody likes bread. Now, let's be honest, bread does taste good. I mean, I know my son, he really likes eating bread, and we switched to berries and strawberries and grapes, and he likes those too, but who doesn't like bread? Well, then that leads to high omega-6s. So you got to do things healthier to combat the high omega-6s. And here's a CRP. And the marker for inflammation, that's what we really check for. It's a test that we do here in the office to check that. And so with the CRP, it's really checking, hey, how healthy am I? I know a lot of folks had never heard of that. I know I've talked to people who get their blood work done yearly or every 6 months, and I say, look, what's your C-reactive protein level? What's your inflammation level? And they're like, I'm not sure, but my LDL is this number, or my HDL is this number, and I'm like, that's good. I'm glad you know those, but really, the CRP number, the C-reactive protein number, is vital because, as you're going to see here in a minute, that anything over 1 chronically leads to these conditions that we talk about, like cancer, heart disease, even stroke. And those are some things just to know and really to understand. You really want the CRP low. That's your inflammation. That's how we're checking your inflammation level. That's where you should know that number there. So, and the more fat cells, health, and physiological issues you may have, the more inflammatory markers you're going to have too. So here's some consequences of the inflammation, or as we said before, the high CRP. That's the cancer, heart disease, stroke, even migraines, headaches, poor memory, intestinal issues. There's a diabetes again, weight gain, depression, even autoimmune. Autoimmune issues are just rising daily. I mean, exponentially just on the rise. And there's some things that we can do now to even help that or even stop that. So here's the range. I know that anything for a man or a woman, anything over 1 is not good. But for women, you can go 1.4 and still be in the good range. So that's why I want to get this checked out. I want to get this number checked, because you can see, on the slide here, heart disease, stroke increases exponentially the higher the number there. So we want to make sure that you're healthy, so you can age, and that's what this slide's about. What the presentation is about is healthy aging. So we want you to age healthy, and knowing your CRP number is a great way of doing that. Now, oxidative stress. What is oxidative stress? Well, as you see on the slide there, an apple, we all see it turn brown. That's the process of oxidative stress, but also rust. If you ever seen metal that starts rusting and decaying, that's oxidative stress. It's breaking down. And our body does the same thing. So, and it's the anti-aging here. So it's premature aging caused by chronic inflammation, oxidation, and other biomarkers for bodily stress. And so if you want to age properly, you need to decrease your inflammation and do things to help oxidative stress. And we'll talk about that here now. So what is oxidative stress? Well, that's your free radicals. And when we know through science that free radicals go around damaging your DNA, and your DNA is what tells your cells how to reproduce and what to become. So, and that even causes inflammation, oxidative stress. So when these free radicals are just going through the body, floating around, damaging cells, it's causing inflammation as well. So there's another cause of inflammation. And so it's not just cholesterol, it's the inflammation. If you heard me earlier, I said that we need LDLs. I know LDLs get the bad rap, but we need them because our body uses them our cells use them to make new cells and protect themselves. And so it's especially damaging to the arterial lining, which causes plaque. So when the LDLs is floating around, if you have high LDLs, which is we know is not good, well, if you have high inflammation, that's gasoline to the fire. That's just more damaging. So you want a good number of LDLs, but you also want a low inflammation level too. So just know that. And so here are some causes of oxidative stress. If you never thought about, well, oxidative stress, free radicals, what is that? Well, toxins cause that. The cigarette smoking, the pollution, if you're not drinking enough water, if you're dehydrated, that's another cause of oxidative stress. And there's the sugars again, the processed foods, the subluxation, as we talked about before. Chiropractic here can help in these ways of keeping you healthy. I know we think about back pain, neck pain, but there's other processes that chiropractic helps with that we just don't know. It's just not mentioned a whole lot, And then there are medications. They're causing oxidative stress. They're the foods, the alcohol, the stress. So those are just some other causes. Now here's the consequences of oxidative stress. More inflammation, as we talked about, is not good. The cancer, COPD, the asthma, the Alzheimer's disease, and this things that as you age, you don't want. And this presentation is on healthy aging, so we want to keep these at a minimum so we can age, so we can become healthy. And when I'm 90, hopefully play with my grandkids or great grandkids or whatever I have by then. So just want to be able to function properly. And these are some things that we're learning now, and I just know I've seen through my lifetime that it makes life not fun, and I want to enjoy life. So the free radicals, the oxidation that happens, well, they affect our organs, and we know that through science now. There's some things that we can do to even help that from stop happening. So as you see here, there's organs around, and that's the high oxidative stress. What's what it can cause? If you're looking at your brain, the Alzheimer's. If you're looking at your immune system, the autoimmune issues. The joints, the arthritis, the lungs, the asthma, COPD. So those are some things that we want to be able to slow down the free radicals, the oxidative stress, so your body can heal properly, can function the way it's designed to. So, and the toxic burden is, if you don't do things to help the toxins or get rid of the toxins, it can overwhelm the body. We know that the body does a great job of getting rid of toxins on its own. But when the bucket's full, it's just spewing out, going over. It can lead to chronic inflammation, oxidation, and it even slows your metabolic rate. So no wonder you gain weight as you get older, right? Your body's not processing the toxins, not getting rid of the toxins. Even lowers thyroid function. So it's going to affect your hormone levels just by being toxic. So if we're not aware of our inflammation levels, our oxidative stress, our toxin levels, those are areas that we need to be aware of so we can age healthy. And so what causes toxicity? What causes us to be a toxic landfill? It's our exposure to pesticides, the molds, the plastics that we drink out of our bottle, and the foods that are packaged in plastics, the chlorines, and heaven forbid the stuff you put on your body, such as the detergents you use, deodorants you use. They got the benzenes, iodines, toluenes that just get in our body, and if we don't get them out, they cause this toxic burden. Even the dental work, there's the alcohol and cigarettes again. So just know that if we don't take care of ourselves, these things do add up. And people, pardon me. People think I'm just getting old. Well, yeah, you may be getting old, but you don't have to be unhealthy getting old. And so, and there's the cancers, depression. These leads to the chronic toxicity leads to these things, and it decreases the vitamin levels, chronic pain, which nobody wants that. But like I said earlier, I was told when I was younger that you got to be tough to get old. Well, that's what they were talking about, the chronic pain. Well, here's some things you can do to stop that, Skin problems, hormone imbalances. So if you don't watch your toxic level, those are some things you've got to be aware of. And so here's some things that you can do so you're not becoming a toxic burden, a toxic landfill. Is, hey, do you detox? Do you support your detox channels? I saw earlier how high levels of toxins affect different organs. Well, you got to get the toxins out. And glutathione, this is made in the body. The body makes glutathione, but as we age, it produces less glutathione. So that's why you want to have a quality antioxidant detoxer, so you can create more glutathione, because we don't produce much as we get older. And like I said before, if you don't get rid of the toxins, the stress, the traumas, it can cause even more deficiency. So the toxins must be absorbed and removed from the body. If they're not removed, the free radicals and oxidation is caused by that. So here's how your body naturally detoxes: through your skin, when you sweat, through your lungs, through your colon, your kidneys, your liver, your lymphatics, your fat cells. So the body has this process of getting rid of toxins, but it's a bucket too full to where it's just spewing out, going to these other organs and these other cells that causes the free radicals, the inflammation. So you got to help your body. And now, as we start to wind up here and to give you other solutions here, vitamin D. I've been talking about vitamin D, I know, for a good 5 years. And the more I learn about it, the more I just like, wow, I can't believe we're not taking enough vitamin D. And I remember even 20, 30 years ago, when I was in school, I was like, well, vitamin D, who needs vitamin D? Because you make it in your body, right? Through the sun. Well, there's so many ways that you can be deficient in vitamin D, and we also do DNA testing here at the clinic, and I've tested myself, and I have a gene malfunction. So I don't absorb vitamin D properly. So I have to take more vitamin D, because if low levels of vitamin D lead to depression, osteoporosis, heart disease, there's the autoimmune issues again, infection, hypertension, even cancer. So you really can't get too much vitamin D. So, and like I was saying with the vitamin D levels, if they're low, they cause those things. But if they're high, we see 33% less heart disease, 55% less type 2 diabetes, even 51% less weight loss resistance. So let's say you're trying to lose weight, but you can't. Well, your vitamin D levels probably are low as well. So those are some things that you just don't think about. Vitamin D. I didn't know that until I started learning more about it, and that's why I'm sharing this with you now. Healthy aging. And so I know I've had patients that get their test results done at other places, and I'm like, if you get your blood work, what's your number? Oh, I don't know. Well, they say it's good. And I said, well, get your number. Get the number of your vitamin D level so we can talk about it. And they'll say, oh, it was 22. Oh, it was 30. And I was like, that's low. well, they're telling me it's good. I said, well, that may be the case, but the doctors I listen to, the people that I get my information from, the people that I model my practice by, 80. You want your vitamin D levels around 80. And that's so rare. So we test that. If we don't test it, we're guessing. So you got to test your vitamin D levels. You got to test your CRP levels to know where you are. You just got to. And if you don't know, then no wonder you're having issues with weight loss or issues with your diabetes or your blood pressure's high. You just don't know these things unless you test them. So you want a high vitamin D level. And I'm telling you now, 80 is a good number. And it's so hard to get there because, like I was saying about myself here, I have issues absorbing vitamin D. So I take a bunch of it. So there we are again about testing your vitamin D levels, because it helps to lessen inflammation, it helps lower the risk of diseases. And here's the thing that I didn't know 20, 30 years ago was over 900 gene functions are controlled by your vitamin D levels. 900. So if you're low, that means 900 genes aren't working properly. And that's not good. We want to be healthy, want to age healthy. Vitamin D, need to raise it way up. And so here's some things that we can do starting today to address inflammation, to address our aging, because hopefully we all get old, or if we're all healthy enough to be old, pardon me, and even have less diseases. I know that's something that we all don't want. We don't want to be unhealthy aging, but we just think it's part of the process, and it's not. So you got to test your CRP. You got to get your food allergy. Are you sensitive to certain foods? And I'll just give you an example for myself, and I'll talk about me a lot here, just so because I want you to know that if you're not aware of these things, inflammation keeps rising. Because if you have allergies to a food, if you're sensitive to a food, and I'm sensitive to meat, chicken, pork, beef, I shouldn't eat that. Or if I do eat it once a week. Because I'm sensitive to my body. When I eat these things, my body sees it as a foreign invader, so it goes to attack it. So you want to know what you're sensitive to. Know what your CRP number is. Know what your vitamin D number is. You got to test the vitamin D. And hey, are you doing things to address your daily exposure to toxins? And are you detoxing? You want to fight the inflammation with anti-inflammatory nutrients and not just medication. So just realize that if you're just thinking the medication is going to help, well, that's probably causing other issues as well. You want to increase your omega-3 fatty acids. You want to have a high nutrient levels. Are you taking a good vitamin pack? Or are you eating whole foods with low glycemic index? So those are some ways you can address your inflammation and age healthier. Now, here's the Edison pack. It's something that I highly recommend. Everybody should take the Edison pack. It's something that I take daily. You know, it has your multivitamin in there, as you can see there. It also has your nerve, bone, and soft tissue support. And so those are some things that are in there. Now, here's the anti-inflammatory nutrients that are in there. Your turmeric, which is the curcuminoids. I know turmeric gets all the glory, but if you're taking vitamins or a supplement with turmeric in there, but low curcuminoids, then you're just not really getting a good source. So you want curcuminoids is what you want in your turmeric. It's what really helps that inflammation levels. There's your boswellia, your white willow bark. Those are some anti-inflammatory nutrients that are in the Edison pack already. And then your vitamin E. You know, it helps with the body antioxidant. It helps the body fight off the free radicals. I know that a lot of us probably don't take any supplements and think it's in our food, but our food is commercialized nowadays, so it's not in there. So you want a good quality vitamin E because you want to be able to fight the free radicals. And those are some reasons why there. So, and then the number one killer, as we said before, is the heart disease in men and women. And so in the Edison pack, there's the heart blend is in there. You got your deoxyribose, which repairs and prevents heart damage and even improves recovery. You've got antioxidants like resveratrol, CoQ10, and your lycopene. So those are some things in there that helps the body fight itself. Not helps the body, not fight itself. Helps the body fight inflammation, fight oxidation, so it can be healthier and we can live. I won't say longer, but as we age, be healthier. So, and in the men's, you want your saw palmetto for your prostate. You want to support your organs, and so there's some things that we can do. Then omega 3s. We talked about that earlier. Here's your fish oils, and I take the E plus as well. I highly recommend it because it is high quality, high dose omega fatty acids, and I compared it to others that people. I take fish oils. Well, bring the bottle in. Let's just look at the fish oils that you're taking compared to what we have here, and this. And then the high EPA, the high DHA is what you want. And most times they're just so low, not even getting a good dose. And then your vitamin D. If most of us are low, as we said before, so you want your immune function properly. You want to be able to fight infections, your muscle function, cardiovascular, your respiratory systems. You want those working right, and even brain development. I know in my children, I give them vitamin D3 in their bottles, extra D3, just so their brain can develop properly. And so those are some reasons why you want your vitamin D3. And then right here you see D3K. You want the K with it, so because when you absorb more D3, you're going to absorb more calcium automatically. Because D3 is the key to open the cellular door for calcium to go in. But the vitamin K puts the calcium into the bone cells, so it doesn't just float around and clog arteries. And then the detox, the master detox. So this is something that I take as well. It's a daily system. I know I do detoxes sometimes that are more strenuous, more challenging. But this is a daily detox. You just take, you take your master detoxifier in the morning, and you capture and release in the evening. So hey, you want to gather up all the toxins, and then you want to get all the toxins out. So that's how we do that with the master detox. So as you listen to me talk fast, as you listen to me say some of the same things twice, just realize I want us to age healthier. I want us to, as we get older, it doesn't mean you have to hurt more. And there are some ways you can do that. So, get your chiropractic care. Take your supplements, which would be a good multivitamin, clinical doses of your nutrition. Have healthier habits, exercise, drink your water. I mean, those are some things that we can do to age healthy. So I hope you learned something here today, and I'll see you real soon.